Justina wants to build a deck in the corner of her backyard in the shape of a right triangle. The length of one side of the deck is 7 feet more than the other side. The hypotenuse is 13. So what are the lengths of the two sides of the deck? When I read a question like that, my brain is just like, just trying to reject all those numbers. I cannot sort through all those numbers without a picture. So first up, I'm told that she's going to build her deck in the form of a triangle. A right triangle. Okay, that's step one. That's easy enough. Next up, the length of one side of the deck is 7 feet more than the other. So if the length of one side I just call L, the length of the other side would be L plus 7. Lastly, the hypotenuse is 13 feet. So this is all of a sudden much more manageable. Now this is starting to just look like a geometry problem. If I have a triangle like this, can I find the missing L? Well, how do I do that? I'm going to use Pythagoras. Which tells me that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And a and b are these smaller sides of the triangle, and c is the long side, the hypotenuse. So we might have an area problem. If you're working with right triangles, it might be a Pythagoras problem. So this will require you to go back on some of your basic geometry knowledge. So let's go with Pythagoras here. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, a, I'm going to say, is that length that we don't know, L, and b is the other side, which is L plus 7. And all that's equal to c squared, which is 13. And to solve this equation, I'm going to have to do a bunch of rearranging. So I have L squared. I have to expand this bracket, which I'm going to do by foiling. And 13 squared is 169. So I've got to FOIL this guy out on the left-hand side. And then I have to simplify the left-hand side. So I have 2L squared plus 14L. And I'm also going to subtract off the 169. So 49 minus 169 is negative 120. Now I'm getting closer to my final steps. This is just looking like a regular old quadratic equation that I should be able to factor and solve. And to start, I can pull off a factor of 2, which is nice, leaving me with L squared plus 7L minus 60. And now this is just a simple trinomial that I can factor. So I have 2 times, so I need numbers that multiply to 60, add to 7. What should I try here? I'm going to try 5 and 12. And if I do negative 5 and plus 12, I get plus 7. So that would be L minus 5 and L plus 12. So that's going to be 2. Oh, no, sorry. Now we're at the point solved. We've done the factoring. So now we just go ahead with the solution. So either L is equal to 5 feet or L is equal to negative 12 feet. But just like the last example, you do not do measurements in negative feet. So the length is equal to 5 feet, and the other side length is L plus 7, which means the other side is equal to 5 plus 7 is 12 feet. So there's my solution to this problem. You can see it takes a little bit of work, but I'm explaining every step longer than you might take to do the math, so it can go a little bit quicker as you get practice with these problems.